Chokoloskee to Flamingo, and it was a beautiful day of kayaking and sailing. And came to be early evening, and the weather was fantastic, so I decided to make the passage across, which is some open water. And of course, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, the wind picks up, the waves pick up 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet. Pretty soon there's breaking, and I'm having to point my bow up into each breaking wave. Again, it's night, but I can see a little patch of white with the breaking waves. Hour after hour, I'm going up into the waves. 3 or 4 times, my boat was completely underwater, from bow to stern, underwater. It would always pop back up like a duck, and I got to my campsite about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was so relieved to be on solid ground. This expedition adventure started in Fort Myers, go down the Caloosahatchee to Sanibel, Sanibel to Flamingo, Flamingo to Miami, Miami up to Jupiter Island into the St. Lucie River, take a series of locks up the Lake Okeechobee, go across the lake into the Caloosahatchee, a series of locks going down into Fort Myers. Sometimes these expeditions are just an excuse to create stories. The locks were a little intimidating at first. I had to call the lock tender on my portable marine radio and ask permission to enter his lock. And he would sometimes say, "Take down your sails," and I'd paddle up to the lock, and there'd be a line over the side. It might be 20, 25 feet high, and I'd hold on to the line, and the water would rise up and up and up and up, and then the opposite gate would open, and I'd kayak away. I stopped on one of the little islands before getting up into Biscayne Bay. I was going to take a nap, have a nice meal, and then take off and go up Biscayne Bay, leave about 1 o'clock in the morning. And so I started up my Zvi stove, which needs a little priming, and the first time it didn't catch, and the second time I put a little white gas on it, and I hadn't noticed there were a few drops, and I put the gas can down about 4 feet away from the stove, and I lit it, and I noticed the grass caught on fire, and it started moving toward my white gas can. I go, "Oh no," and I grabbed it and I flung it as far as I could so that it wouldn't catch on fire and explode. And while in the process, I had got some drops on my leg, and so I fall in the fire, and it goes right up to my leg, and my leg is on fire. So I put it out, and I go into the ocean, and it's cool, and I come back out, and it's burning hot, so I go back in, and it cools it off, and I do that about 5 or 6 times, and I finally do go to sleep. And when I finally did get back to Fort Myers 8 or 9 days later, my wife did tell me, she's a nurse, and she told me, "Bill, that's a 3rd-degree burn." I was somewhere above Fort Lauderdale, kayak sailing in the inland coastal waterway, and it's that area where there's nothing but concrete and seawalls and condos and hotels and houses, and there's no place to pull off. And it was blowing, it was stormy, and it was the kind of rain where you can't see 25 feet in front of you. And I was tacking back and forth and making very little headwind. And it was the afternoon, and I was cold, and I was wet, and I was tired, and I pulled behind a seawall to get out of the wind, give myself just a little bit of a little rest. And the rain stopped, and I heard a voice. And the voice said, "Do you want a cup of coffee?" And I look around, and on a second floor balcony was a man, and I looked up at him, and I go, "More than anything in the world." And he made me his cup of coffee, and he came down and stood by the seawall. I had to use my paddle because if I couldn't reach him. And I carefully put the cup on the paddle, and I lowered it down, and we ended up talking for about 45 minutes. And I just have to say, that was the best cup of coffee I have ever had.